I froze. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the album. I could hear footsteps moving inside the house. Slow, heavy ones. Someone was in there. My first thought was to call the police, but my phone suddenly went black. Dead battery. I swear it had 60% a few minutes ago. My mind started racing. Was this a break-in? But how would Lily know? I hid behind the big oak tree across the street, trying to peek through the living room window. The curtains were half open and I saw a shadow. A tall man, wearing a black jacket, moving around like he was searching for something. And then I saw it. He was holding a flashlight and a gun. My heart nearly stopped. Why my house? Why tonight? The album felt heavier in my hands, like it was pulling me down. I didn't even know why I had it, but something told me not to let go. Then, out of nowhere, a car pulled up a few houses down. A dark SUV, its headlights flicked twice like a signal. The man inside my house moved fast, grabbing something from the table and rushing out through the back door. I wanted to scream, but fear glued my voice to my throat. I waited a few minutes, just watching until the SUV sped away. Then I ran to my neighbor's porch, banged on the door like a maniac, and begged them to call the cops. When they arrived, my house looked like a tornado had hit it. Drawers pulled out, furniture flipped. But the weirdest part? Nothing was stolen. Not jewelry, not cash, nothing. Except one thing. A single framed photo, the one of me, Lily, and my husband on Lily's 10th birthday, that was missing. And that's when something in my chest tightened. Because that photo used to be inside the album I was holding. Until last week. She texted me, "Take the photo album and go." I didn't question her, and that's why I'm still alive. A story that'll remind you how sometimes one small message can change your entire life. It was 6:47 p.m. I still remember the exact time because the sky outside had that deep orange color, the kind that makes you want to just stop and stare. I was in the kitchen, scrolling through some old recipes when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my daughter, Lily. "Mom, take the photo album and leave the house. Don't ask why. Just go now." At first I laughed. It sounded like one of those prank messages she used to send when she was a kid. But then I noticed something. She had typed "now" in all caps. And Lily never did that. My stomach dropped. I called her, no answer. I texted back, "What's going on?" 3 dots appeared, then vanished. That's when I heard a sound upstairs, a soft thud, like someone closing a door gently. My husband wasn't home. He was supposed to be on a business trip. My first instinct was to grab a knife or something, but her words, "Take the photo album and leave," kept echoing in my head. The photo album was in the living room, under the old coffee table. It was filled with memories from when Lily was little. I grabbed it, my hands trembling, and walked toward the door. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. Then my phone buzzed again. One more text from Lily. "Please, Mom, don't look back." I didn't think. I just ran. Out the front door, barefoot, clutching that album like it was my life. I didn't even stop to lock the door. And just as I reached the end of the driveway, I heard something inside the house. A crash. A man's voice. Then silence. If you're new here and love true feeling stories filled with suspense and emotion, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next. The police searched every inch of my house that night. No fingerprints, no forced entry, no broken locks, nothing. It didn't make sense. They kept asking if I'd recently argued with someone, if anyone had a reason to hurt me. But all I could think about was Lily's message. "Take the photo album and leave." How did she know something was going to happen? When the cops finally left, I sat in my neighbor's kitchen, staring at that photo album like it was alive. My hands were trembling as I opened it. Most of the pictures were normal. Birthdays, vacations, first days of school. But when I got to the last page, my blood went cold. There was an empty space, a clear outline where one photo used to be, the same one that was missing from the wall. The picture of me, Lily, and my husband, Mark. Only, I remembered something strange about that photo. When we took it years ago, I'd noticed a man standing far in the background, blurry but visible, someone we didn't know. Mark had laughed it off, saying it was just some stranger who happened to be there. But now, that stranger had broken into my house. I couldn't sleep. Every sound outside made me jump. I tried calling Lily again. No answer. Her phone was still off. The next morning, I drove straight to her apartment across town. Her car was parked outside, but she wasn't home. The door was unlocked. I stepped inside, heart pounding like crazy. The place was spotless, too spotless. Her clothes, her things, all gone. Only a note was left on the kitchen counter. It said, "Mom, don't trust anyone, especially Mark." I swear, I felt my whole body go numb. My husband, he was supposed to be out of town, so why did his car just drive past the window? I ran to the window and froze. That was Mark's car, no doubt. The same silver sedan I'd seen 1,000 times before. He wasn't supposed to be here. He told me he was flying to Chicago for a conference. But there he was, driving past Lily's apartment, slow and careful like he didn't want to be seen. My heart was hammering so hard it hurt. I ducked behind the curtain and waited for him to pass. My hands were sweating and my mind was spinning. What the hell was going on? I grabbed the note again. Don't trust anyone, especially Mark. Lily wouldn't write that without a reason. I had to find her. I checked her laptop on the kitchen table. Password locked. But then I noticed a sticky note stuck to the back of it, with a random number written on it, 060217. I typed it in. Unlocked. Her desktop was clean except for one folder named Old Photos. When I opened it, there were only 3 pictures inside, and every single one was of that same 10th birthday party. But in each one, that man in the background wasn't standing still anymore. In one photo, he was looking at the camera. In the next, he was standing closer. And in the third, he was right behind Mark. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. Before I could process it, I heard a car door slam outside. I peeked through the blinds. Mark was walking toward the apartment building. I panicked, grabbed the photo album, the laptop, and slipped out the back door. I didn't know where to go, so I drove to the only place that felt safe, the old cabin my dad used to own by the lake. No one knew about it except me and Lily. As I pulled onto the dirt road, my phone suddenly buzzed to life. A new message popped up from Lily. "Mom, if Dad finds you, don't believe what he says. He's not who you think he is." My hands went cold on the steering wheel, because when I looked in the rearview mirror, Mark's car was following me. I pressed my foot down on the gas. The road was narrow and filled with trees on both sides, but I didn't care. I just needed to get away. Mark's headlights stayed close in my mirror, sometimes fading behind a curve, then reappearing like he wanted me to know he was there. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. "Why, Mark? Why are you following me?" I whispered. But deep down, I already knew. The lake cabin was still 15 minutes away. I took a sharp turn down a side road, hoping to lose him, but his car followed perfectly. No hesitation. Then my phone buzzed again. "Lily. Mom, don't stop. Just get to the cabin. There's something there you need to see." Something inside me told me to trust her, no matter what. By the time I reached the cabin, rain had started pouring. The headlights behind me disappeared for a few seconds. Maybe he'd slowed down. I jumped out of the car, grabbed the photo album and Lily's laptop and sprinted inside. The place smelled of old wood and dust. I flicked the lights. Nothing. Power was out. I used my phone's flashlight and placed the album on the table. And that's when I noticed something I'd never seen before. On the back cover of the photo album, there was a small slit, like the stitching had come loose. I pulled at it, and a folded paper slid out. It was an old photograph, black and white. My husband, Mark, standing with a woman I didn't recognize, and a little girl who looked exactly like Lily. But the date on the photo? 998. That was 6 years before Lily was born. My heart stopped. What the hell was this? I heard tires crunching outside. A car door slammed. Then Mark's voice. Calm, steady, almost gentle. "Sarah, open the door, please. I just want to talk." I stepped back, clutching the photo in one hand and the knife I found on the counter in the other. "Stay away from me, Mark," I shouted. And then I heard another voice from outside. A woman's voice. "Sarah, open up, it's me." "Lily?" For a second, I couldn't breathe. Lily's voice. But it didn't sound like her. Not exactly. It was softer, slower, almost off. I pointed the flashlight toward the door. "Lily!" I called out, my voice shaking. No reply. Just the sound of rain hammering against the windows. Then again, "Mom, it's me. Please open the door." I hesitated. My heart wanted to believe it was her, but my gut screamed no. What if it wasn't? I stepped closer to the window, careful not to make noise, and peeked through the curtain. There was a woman standing there in the rain, soaked from head to toe, wearing a hoodie. She looked like Lily, but older. And right behind her, I saw Mark's silhouette, standing under the tree, watching. "Lily," I whispered again. The woman lifted her head slowly, and for a second our eyes met. That's when I realized that wasn't my daughter. She looked exactly like her. Same eyes, same smile. But something about her face was off. She was older, too old. Then Mark shouted, "Sarah, listen to me. She's not Lily. Please let me explain." I felt dizzy. My vision blurred. My hands tightened around the knife. "What are you talking about?" I yelled, "Where's my daughter?" He took a slow step forward. "You need to trust me. That girl, she's not real. She's been texting you. She's dangerous." I laughed, a broken, terrified laugh. "You're lying. You're trying to trick me." But the woman outside smiled and said something that made my blood freeze. "He's right, Mom. I'm not the Lily you remember." Before I could react, the front door handle rattled. I screamed and backed away, the knife trembling in my hand. "You both need to stop," I shouted. But it was too late. The door burst open, slamming against the wall. Rain poured in. Mark stumbled inside, yelling, "Run, Sarah!" I turned toward him and saw that the woman behind him wasn't standing anymore. She was floating. I froze where I stood. Mark fell to his knees, water dripping from his hair, eyes wide with pure terror. The woman, the one who looked like Lily, hovered just a few feet above the ground, her wet clothes clinging to her like shadows. Lightning flashed through the window, lighting up her face. It was Lily, but not my Lily. Her eyes were darker, colder, empty. "Mom," she whispered, "why didn't you tell him the truth?" My body went numb. "What truth?" I screamed. "Oh, who are you?" She tilted her head, a strange smile curling on her lips. "You kept the photo album. You kept me." Then she pointed at the table where I'd left the old photo, the one from 1998. "Look closer," she said. I turned toward it, my hands trembling as I picked it up again. The little girl in the picture, she wasn't just like Lily, she was Lily. The same face, the same eyes, everything. But that was impossible. This picture was taken years before she was even born. Mark's voice cracked behind me. "Sarah, I didn't want you to find out this way." He stood up slowly, breathing hard. "That's not our daughter. That's her twin. The one who died before birth." My knees gave out. "What are you saying?" He looked at me with tears in his eyes. "We lost one twin, Sarah. The doctors told you she didn't survive. But she did. Someone took her. Someone from that hospital. I spent years trying to find her." I stared at the woman hovering in front of us, her eyes now filled with rage. "You let me die, Mom," she hissed. "You forgot me." The lights flickered. The photo album snapped open on its own, pages flipping wildly until they stopped on a blank page. A name appeared across it, written in dripping black ink. Lila. My heart shattered. That was the name we had chosen for the twin we lost. The walls started shaking. Wind roared through the cabin. Mark grabbed my arm. "We have to go, Sarah, now." But I couldn't move, because Lila, the ghost of the daughter I never knew, was staring straight at me. The cabin felt like it was alive. The windows rattled, the floorboards creaked, and that awful wind howled through every crack. Lila, my lost daughter, floated closer, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Mark pulled me behind him, shouting, "Lila, please! We didn't know. We thought you were gone." But his words only made her angrier. "You lied," she said, her voice shaking the walls. "You replaced me." "No," I cried. "I never replaced you. I didn't even know you were alive." Tears streamed down my face as I dropped to my knees. "If I had known, I would have found you. I swear to God, I would have found you." For a moment, the wind stopped. The silence was so heavy, it felt like the air had frozen. Lila tilted her head, and for a second, I saw the little girl she was meant to be, the one who never got a chance to live, to laugh, to grow up. Her face softened. "Mom," she whispered, voice trembling. "You still kept the album." I nodded, clutching it tight against my chest. I never threw it away. Every picture, every memory, I kept it because I loved you both. She slowly floated down, her bare feet touching the floor. Her expression changed, less anger, more sadness. Then she looked at Mark. "You lied to protect her." He nodded, tears rolling down his cheeks. "I didn't want her to know the truth. I couldn't lose both of you." Lila reached out, her hand almost touching mine. "I just wanted to be remembered." "I'll remember you," I whispered. "Every day." Her fingers brushed my hand, cold as ice but gentle. Then she smiled one last time, and just like that she began to fade. The lights flickered once more and she was gone. The room fell silent, the air felt lighter. Mark dropped to the floor shaking, whispering her name. Outside, the storm was clearing. The moon broke through the clouds, lighting up the old lake. I opened the album one last time, and there, where the blank page had been, was a new photo. Me, Mark, Lily, and Lila smiling between us. I don't know if anyone will ever believe me. But every time I look at that picture, I swear I still feel her near me, watching, protecting. Finally, home.